Welcome to this podcast, a space to inspire you to let go of what is no longer serving you and let's go into action. I am Liliana, your host, and I am a Thanatologist, that is Death, Loss, and Bereavement Studies, and a bioenergy healing practitioner. I support women, perhaps like you, to recognize and heal silent losses generated by conflicted family relationships so that you can integrate that relationship into your reality and align emotionally and energetically with your true self, your personal power, your voice, your intuition, and find joy, abundance, and a life of purpose. So I hope you get inspired by these interviews. Subscribe so you can join me in the next episodes, and let's move to the conversation. Welcome everyone to this episode of Let Go and Let's Go. We have a very special guest today, Dom Narciso Kim. Dom, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me, Liliana.
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor. I know that you have a awesome trajectory on your coaching business, and I am very interested to hear about it. So, can you please tell us what is it that you do?
Yeah, I do global purpose coaching for trailing spouses, diplomats, and expats in transition. And I also do business mentorship for those that want to jump into entrepreneurship.
Wow, that's a mouthful. Yeah. Well, that is packing a lot of information and very interesting. So I know that you're a wife of a diplomat, and what I'm understanding is that you are an immigrant. Well, you have moved around, and now you understand what families that are immigrants or move around go through. And this is, I always try to relate my niche to the interviewee. And what I see is that, as my audience know, I work with loss. And for me, moving out of your country or where you live or your house or whatever move is going to generate emotions and a loss that generate emotions, and some people don't understand that you have to grieve them and heal them. So tell us a bit about what is it that you incorporate this loss into your own business.
This is such a great question. And I'm going to give you the short version of it. But essentially, as a first generation American, my parents came from the Philippines. I grew up in Los Angeles, lived my whole life there, went to school there. And when I had an opportunity to follow my partner, at the time we were just dating, to Venezuela, I said yes. And I was in my mid 20s. I had already graduated from college, from UCLA. I had already finished the Peace Corps. I served in Costa Rica for 2 years. And I thought, oh, what a great adventure. I'll go overseas with her. And biggest shift in my life, because I didn't have a community. I didn't have my professional identity. I didn't have my family around. So I was experiencing multiple losses as a mid 20 something, and I didn't know how to navigate it at the time. So fast forward into the future, now I'm helping others that are also experiencing some sort of identity loss because of moving so much or because of a career transition, and helping them navigate like their next chapter. Because life, as we all know, after your first, 2 decades, it really shifts and changes in ways that we could never anticipate.
Yes, and we can anticipate some of the changes, as you said, but some others that we are not even aware. It's not only that you are leaving your friends behind, it's part of your identity, part of your voice, part of your self-esteem, and also part of the how to navigate your personality in this new environment. What do you think about that?
Oh, great question. I think it's an experiment. You don't know how you're going to be. Like, I can think of many examples. When I first went to Costa Rica, I didn't know how I was going to be there because I had never experienced it before. When I became a mother of twins, I didn't know how I would be as a mother because I've never experienced it before. So every time we're going through these, I want to call them like these doorways of growth, we take what we know, and then there's like this whole unknown, this big gap of knowledge that we have to grow into an experience. Some of it is great, some of it is really challenging because it's poking at us in different angles of like, who are you now that you're XYZ, now that you have this identity or this role or you're in this country. So um, it's a very it's a complex and multi-layered process, but doing the work on yourself and getting to know who you are, regardless of your external environment, that is some of the deepest work you can ever do in your life. And one of the most precious, because when you find
Oh.
your purpose, when you find your essence and your energy that lights you up, you get to be who you want to be wherever you go and you feel good about it. So, yeah.
Well, I have to agree on that with you because that's what I like to inspire women with a higher call, like this audience, and find their essence. The thing is, like, when I moved to Canada, I wanted to fit in my new environment, and I thought kind of I needed to shift my personality to fit in this situation or that situation or with these people, and I lost my essence, and that I really paid hard for that. Physical illness, mental anxieties, you name it. And little by little, I was able to understand that being able to talk to somebody and fit in with that person because I want to be relatable doesn't mean losing my essence. I can be very strong in who I am and still be able to talk to this person and fit in this environment on the other. It's just like changing your clothes, but your essence is intact. And that is where we have to work and on that every day. It's a working process, but hopefully we inspire people to start that process. So tell us, could you be able, I mean, I'll ask you to give us a piece of advice that you would tell your client on how to navigate these changes.
One of the most important questions that I ask myself, and then I ask my clients, is how do you define success today? And it's in this definition that we start to see the narratives, the stories that we tell ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of. And, that one question will open up a lot of conversation around, does this still align with where I'm at? Does this still align with who I want to be? Maybe this definition got me to where I am, but is it going to get me to where I want to go? So we unpack their own narrative about who they are so that we can determine what do we keep. It's like packing a bag, right? You're going on a trip. What am I going to keep with me? And what am I going to let go of?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and talking about let go, I love to ask you what you had to let go of to become the pure essence that you're now living your vision, your purpose, and well, you're coaching and helping other people do that.
Yeah, I had to let go of, how do I say it? External validation. I had to
Mm-hmm.
let go of the achievement identity that I had, not fully, but the part of me that wanted other people to accept me because I got a good grade or I got promoted or I have this title. So letting go of the need and the desire to be validated by external sources, that was a
Mm-hmm.
huge shift for me because now I can just ask for myself, like, oh, does this feel good to me? Regardless of what other people
Yes.
think. So, simply
Yes.
said, other people's opinion, it's not as strong as it was before because now I know for me what is my North Star, what do I want to do, and how I want to grow and be in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I that's very interesting. Your North Star. I like that. I like to have that core belief that is not going to shift you. It's your ground. And then from that point you can operate in this world, right?
Mhm.
So that's that's a very good thing to let go, validation, because when you are the one that is validating yourself, you are connected with your essence, with your the intuition of what's good, what's not good for you, for your highest good. You're able to say no when you really feel like the situation applies for a no or a yes, but it's in a consciousness of what you're taking your decisions. And even if you do something that you don't care much for, as long as it's a conscious decision and it's not just a pull by the other person, it's like, okay, you're not pulling my energy out. I am willing to give you my energy and go with what you want, but because I decided to do so. That is very important also. Well, now, what else? I don't even know what else to ask you because you're full of good information. Tell us just something that you want to share with our audience.
Yeah, I think this is great, and thanks for the platform. One of the hardest things we'll ever do in our lives is to fully accept who we are in all aspects of it. I came out as a lesbian woman in my early 20s. I had to fight to be who I am. I had to fight against the narratives of like, this is how you're supposed to be as a woman in the world. Um, so for those of you that are feeling like, gosh, it's so hard to be myself in the world, when you make the decision to stand proudly in who you are and the kind of life you want to live, that is what's going to unlock the power within you and what's going to unlock your North Star. You'll start to be guided by something that's invisible, but you'll just feel it and you'll be curious and you'll say yes to your own joy. You'll say yes to your own happiness because now you're allowing yourself, you're giving yourself the permission to be as you are, not as people want you to be. And that is a complete shift and transformation. So allowing yourself to be yourself, as cliche as that sounds, like that's the purpose of our lives. Like, how can we let ourselves be authentic to who we are and, make decisions and pursue careers and pursue ideas that really align with what makes us happy.
Exactly. It's a no shame, no permission. Just
Yeah.
go with what you really are. I diminished my sparks for so many years thinking that's what people wanted me to be. And now that I'm recuperating it and I'm as loud as I want, as Latin vibe as I want, it's like that's actually what's attracting people. But if I should know long time ago that to keep that spark that we actually from children we have it and then we start losing it with all these societal, I don't know, ideas, or I don't even know what's the proper word, but yeah, that's a shame that people lose themselves in life and then you start recuperating and that's when life really is getting fun, when you start recuperating yourself and going for it full force, full potential. It's so nice to finally realize I can do whatever is it that I want to do and have fun with it. So now I know that you wrote a book, so tell us a little bit about it. I'm quite interested.
Yeah, so in 2020, I wrote a book. I have it here actually. It's called
Oh, show
Live Your New
us.
Story, Discover Your Best Self, and Live Your Best Life. And this is really like 10 years in the making. It's a book about being a trailing spouse and losing my professional identity overseas. And then going through the process of like, how do I reimagine my life now that I'm not in the context of the United States, but now I'm in the context of I'm in the world. I don't know what country we're going to every couple of years, and raising a family overseas. So it's the framework that I've developed for others that are also going through an identity shift. How can I be happy in
Mm-hmm.
this, in the change, in this uncertainty, in, navigating what's the next chapter? And so this book really is a testament of all of those years of questioning, like, am I worthy? Like, I don't even know what I want anymore. So if you've ever
Yes.
had that question, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want to be when in the world? Like, this is a great book to support those that are looking for their own answers.
Well, that's fantastic because one thing that I'm thinking is that now that the world has really opened up in frontiers and that people can basically get their laptop and that's their office all around the world, it's easy to move to a different culture or another place. And but you don't have to be aware that even that you're living a loss. I'm coming back to my first comments. Any change of routine or environment is going to cause a loss that is going to generate conflicted emotions. So even if this change is for good, you have to realize that you're leaving things behind. You're leaving not only people, memories, attachments. People, we are attached to things and people and ideas and precepts, and so it's a lot of a letting go of that, but in a conscious way, to say, okay, I'm going to do this change, but first let allow myself to be sad for what I'm losing, to recognize that it's a loss. I can make peace with that. I can leave those emotions and transmute them into, okay, now this is my new reality. I'm in peace with what I'm leaving behind. That doesn't mean that you're going to forget it, or that you're going to cut ties with your people, but complete the relationships emotionally, so that
Oh,
you
so
really go with your laptop and your new future, but centered in what you are as an essence and going for your higher call. That's my final thought. But now give us your final thoughts.
Oh, that was so good. I don't even know if I could top that one. The final thought is consciousness. Can you bring conscious intention and conscious presence to every change that you're navigating in your life? I think that is a deep wisdom. Like, be with the sadness, be with the emotions that you're feeling, and integrate it into your system. Not just forget about it, but really allow it to be. I think that's what I'm getting from this conversation.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you. I'm going to put your descriptions of your in that description. I'm going to put your socials if people want to contact you or buy your book. Is there any class that you're giving, any courses in the near
Yeah, just
future?
just stay in touch on LinkedIn or Instagram. I do master classes every month on purpose and portable
Hmm.
business. So if you're in that space and you want to build your next chapter, yeah, happy to connect.
Oh, well, you're the perfect person to do that, because you're going to connect the practical business side, which the portable moving around, but the emotional context of still be who you are. So I think you're the whole package. Thank you, Dom, and we'll get in touch later. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Let Go and Let's Go. I hope we inspire you into moving 1 degree closer towards your vision, because you deserve to live an inspired life. If you resonated with anything we said, or you'd like to learn more about how I can support you into integrating and healing your emotional relationships and align to your higher call, please reach out, info@lilianachamberlain.com, or I'll leave a link in the description. And remember to subscribe so you can join me in the next episodes. Meanwhile, remember, keep shining, because your light is only meant to get brighter.